"You're not my mother," she snapped, the words like a gunshot. Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned with icy fire. Marta froze, coffee cup in hand. Hot liquid sloshed onto the kitchen floor, but she didn't flinch. She just stared at her daughter, the same girl she'd rocked through sleepless nights, whose scraped knees she'd dabbed with iodine, whose tears she'd wiped with her own sleeves. Now that girl was a woman, silver threading her temples, exhaustion lining her voice, and standing before her like a stranger. "I know I'm not your mother," Marta said quietly. "But then, who is? Who's going to look out for you if I don't?" "No one." Linda turned away sharply, gripping her car keys like she feared they might vanish. "I've been looking out for myself for 20 years. But you keep barging in as if I'm some kind of project. A doll. Something you can fix if it doesn't turn out the way you want it." Marta set the cup down slowly. The house smelled of cinnamon and old wood, the scent of her kitchen, her life. But now it felt foreign. Too sweet. Too suffocating. "I just wanted to help," she said. "You always want to help. Even when I don't ask. Especially when I don't ask." Linda left, closing the door behind her. Not with a slam. She never slammed doors, not even in anger, but the soft click was enough to leave the house wrapped in silence, thick as a blanket. Marta was alone again. They didn't speak for 3 weeks. Marta called. Left messages. At first calm, "Hey, sweetie, just checking in." Then worried, "Where are you? Are you okay?" Finally, quiet, almost a whisper, "I'm sorry." Linda didn't answer. Not calls. Not texts. She knew her mother was hurting. But this time, she couldn't soften. Because this wasn't just interfering again. This cut deeper. It started with her decision to move, not across the state, just a few blocks away, into an old house with a porch and a garden she'd bought after the divorce. She dreamed of quiet. Of space. Of finally breathing without someone else's opinion weighing on her. But Marta took it as betrayal. "You're leaving me," she'd asked the night Linda first mentioned it. "I'm not leaving you, Mom. I just want to live on my own." "But what about me? Who's going to be with me? You said yourself you're fine. That you don't need help." "But I never said I wanted to be alone." And now silence. Linda knew her mother was suffering. But so was she. Not just from guilt. More from the feeling that her life wasn't truly hers, that every step she took was watched, judged, corrected. Even at 62. She sat on the porch of her new house, sipping tea, watching the sunset. The wind rustled the maple leaves. Everything was exactly as she'd dreamed. And yet, it felt empty. Marta hadn't been a bad mother. Quite the opposite, she was the kind who gave everything. Worked 2 jobs while Linda was in college. Knitted sweaters long after her daughter only wore designer clothes. Baked her favorite apple pie every Sunday, even when Linda came less and less. But something shifted with age. Not in Linda, in Marta. She began to fear. Fear loneliness. Fear being forgotten. Fear becoming unnecessary. And so her care turned into control. Her advice became criticism. Her love became a debt. She didn't understand. The tighter she held on, the further she pushed away. Then came the final straw. Linda decided to sell the old Cadillac, the car that had carried her kids to school, taken her on vacations with her husband, driven Marta to the hospital after surgery. It was memory made metal. But the car was rusting, needed constant repairs, and Linda simply couldn't keep up. Marta found out by accident, from a neighbor who'd seen the listing. She showed up unannounced. Stormed in like a storm. "How could you? This isn't just a car, it's our history. It's us. It's just a car, Mom." "No, it's not. It's all we have left." "No, Mom. You're still here. I'm still here. The memories are still here. The car is just metal. And it doesn't even run anymore. You don't understand anything." And then Marta said the words that shattered Linda. "You've become just as cold as your father." Linda froze. Her father had walked out when she was 13. No note. No call. Just gone. And since then, the word cold had felt like a knife to her ribs. "Just go," she whispered. And Marta left. 10 more days passed. Linda woke early. The sky was gray, but no rain fell. She brewed coffee, pulled on her jacket, and got in the car. Without thinking, she drove where she'd always gone when things felt heavy with her mother. The house stood quiet, blinds drawn. On the porch, an empty coffee mug and a newspaper 3 days old. She knocked. No answer. Knocked louder. Then the door creaked open on its own, not all the way, but enough to see. Darkness inside. "Mom," she called. Silence. She stepped in. The living room was tidy. The kitchen spotless. But the bedroom disheveled. Unmade bed. Slippers on the floor. And on the nightstand, a note. "Linda, if you're reading this, you came. I'm sorry I left without saying goodbye. I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm staying with Aunt Betty for a few days. I need to think. Don't be angry. I love you. Always have. Even when I got it wrong." "Mom." Linda sat on the edge of the bed. Her heart pounded so loud it drowned out the world. She pulled out her phone. Dialed Aunt Betty, the old family friend who lived 2 hours away. "Hi, Aunt Betty. It's Linda. Is Mom with you?" "Yes, honey. She's here. Crying. Says she ruined everything. I'm coming right now." They met on Betty's porch. Marta sat in a wicker chair, wrapped in a shawl. She looked smaller, frilier, older than she really was. Linda approached, unsure what to say. She just sat beside her. "I'm sorry," Marta said first. "I didn't mean to. I'm just scared." "Of what?" "That you'll leave. For good." "I won't leave. I just need space. To be myself. Not Marta's daughter." Marta nodded. Quietly. Then she took her daughter's hand. Not tightly. Just enough to feel. "I don't know how to be a grandmother," she whispered. "I don't know how to be just the mother of a grown woman. I still see that little girl with scraped knees." "I'm still that girl," Linda said. "I just have my own scrapes now. And my own choices." They sat a long time. Silent. Listening to leaves rustle. A distant dog bark. The ticking of a clock inside. "Do you forgive me?" Marta asked. "I wasn't holding a grudge. It just hurt. It hurt me too." "Then let's make a deal. You don't step into my life without asking. And I won't disappear for weeks." "Deal." They hugged, not as enemies. Not as strangers. Just as mother and daughter. Broken, but not shattered. A month later, Linda did sell the Cadillac. But first, she took one last drive. Just her and Marta. Down the old highway they'd once taken on summer vacations. No plan. No rush. Marta sat beside her, gazing out the window, smiling. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For coming back." Linda kept her hands on the wheel and replied, "I never left. I was just finding my way back to myself. And to you." The car rolled down the open road. Sunlight glinted off the hood. And in that moment, everything was exactly as it should be.